Hello humans, welcome back to another episode of Awkward Solo at Work with me, your host, Emery. This is the Open Alignment Podcast. I love this line because in very simple terms, it transmits the message I want to keep reminding everyone. That we're human and we always be awkward. This is me as a human baby. Aww. This is me when I was 6. And this is me now. Thank you. My name's Emery, and I was born female. I've always known that I'm a man for as long as I can remember. Now, I don't believe gender defines us who we are, and this talk isn't going to be about that either. But rather, I think being human is what defines us. Being human today is quick and easy. We all have apps for everything. We have apps that buy you food, we have apps that buy you clothes, we even have apps that find you true love. We live in this wonderful, colorful world where everyone presents their best and hides the rest. And ironically, I think it's making us forget how to be humans. We forget that everyone around us are humans. We forget that we all have different interests and outlooks and perspectives in life. Before I go on, you might think, well, of course you're different. This is why you're on the stage, and your story isn't going to be very relatable. But I have to disagree. I disagree because I think we have so much more in common than we're led to believe. Think about it. We're always transitioning in our own ways. We go from babies to students to adults, paying taxes. It could be having a new boss in your team. It could be moving to a new country. The point is, we're always at different chapters in our lives in our own ways. Even if we went to the same school, had the same parents, or were the exact same age. We widely accept that our fingerprints are unique. No one else in the world would have the exact same lines and ridges as you do. Not even identical twins. So why do we have such a hard time believing we're unique as individuals? So we spend our time looking for a tribe, looking for our people, looking to belong and looking to accept. But I think part of a stumbling block is that we confuse what that exactly means, what it means to truly accept and truly belong. And I'm guilty of it as well. For example, have you ever pretended to like something that you don't? I love hiking. Have you ever laughed extra hard at a joke for someone you fancy? And I bet you've done this as well. I bet you've gone to a party you didn't want to go to, but you go anyways because you think you should go. And you get there, you're anxious, and you're stressed out. And you hate yourself for going because all you can think about is how great it is to be in bed watching Netflix. Alone. That constant feeling that you have to be proving something to someone. That constant battle between what you want to be doing versus what you should be doing. Well, that's exactly how I feel for every single second of my life for 25 years. So in 2019, I decided to do something that I wanted to do. I've been thinking about it day and night for 25 years. But it's taken me 25 years because I've been telling myself, this is too hard. This is too difficult. I'll do it when I'm older. I'll do it when I've got time, when I've got the money. And I was right because it does involve a lot of things. Transitioning medically, it does involve countless of doctor's appointments, countless of conversation with people questioning me if this was really necessary. Awkward encounters all the time, in the bathroom, in the bank, in the pharmacy, anything, you name it. But I did it anyways, because I know it's something I've always wanted to do. It also involved becoming a new name, setting up new email addresses, updating all my social media accounts, even down to my Netflix. It's been almost 2 years, and I'm still doing it. There's only 3 things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and admin. So much admin. And I did it anyways, even not knowing exactly how it will play out in my life, personally or professionally. And because of the nature of our work I'm in, I felt it was appropriate to write a post on LinkedIn about it, to say that my name is now Emery, and briefly explained the reasons why. The response I got was overwhelmingly positive. I had strangers reaching out to say thank you for being so open. I had my old bosses reaching out, congratulating me. I had over 70,000 views on this post. Even my high school teachers commented on the post. I've made friends because of this post. But at the same time, I was kind of bummed. Bummed because this by far doubled, tripled, quadrupled all the likes I get on my social media accounts. Do you know how much it hurts to get more likes on LinkedIn than on Instagram as a millennial? That essentially was my coming out post. Now I find myself constantly coming out over and over and over again. I must have done it over 100 times now. I just came out to you all today, again. Just like many things in life, it's a constant effort. No one goes to the gym once and stays in shape forever. And in January 2020, I had my first ever hormone shot. I was particularly excited about all the physical change I was going to get. Facial hair, deeper voice, broader shoulders, and all that kind of stuff. And essentially what happens is puberty, the hormones put you through puberty again. And it's definitely not so fun when you're an adult with a full-time job. The funny thing about this was that my voice was breaking around about the same time as peak COVID hit Hong Kong. So a lot of people just thought I had COVID and left me alone. And by mid-2020, I spoke with confidence. Not the kind of confidence you put on because the world tells you should be confident, but the kind of confidence you have because you want to use your voice, because for the first time, it finally reflects who I am. And in 2021, I found a way to use that. I found a way to use my voice. I started a podcast where I interview different people who pursue different career paths. The aim of the podcast is to let people know you can create this reality for yourself, this career path, if you will, that is suitable to you and you only, just like your fingerprints. And because of the podcast, I was able to connect with all these amazing people all across the world who found the courage through their work. I had Aidan Downey on the show, who was the first ever transgender man to be on the front cover of the Men's Health magazine. He then went on The Ellen Show twice, who really just started a YouTube channel because he wanted to speak to people that was going through a similar thing as he was. And now he spends his time as an activist in the international trans community. I also had Lara on the show, who on paper has a perfect life. A life where most parents want their child to have. She went to Oxford University, did her law degree, and worked in the biggest law firms in the world. Very well educated, very well traveled, has a beautiful family with lovely 3 children. But one day, cancer came knocking on her door, and her life was turned upside down. Now she spends her time as a life and executive coach, because she's very passionate about helping others to find what it is that is truly important to them and show them the way to get there. Because she knows life is far too short to be doing something that you don't enjoy doing. Being surrounded with all these amazing humans drove me to find what it is that I really want to do in the world, who I am in the world. I started volunteering at the Gay Games Hong Kong. I spoke on behalf of the Games on corporate panels like Standard Chartered. I was on the radio talking about my experience. And here I am today on this famously stressful red dot. All of this I never thought I'd be able to achieve as a human, let alone a trans person. Just a few months ago, my mum called. And these calls usually last about 2 minutes, and I want to hang up as soon as we say hello. But this time it was different. What happened was I sent them a link on the talk that I was doing during Pride Month. And we ended up staying on the phone for an entire hour talking about the panel. I can't tell you how cool and surreal it was to be able to talk to my parents about these sort of things so openly, especially given their traditional background and their non-existent knowledge about the LGBT+ community. To put it into context, my dad is convinced it's called AGBT. Of course, they didn't suddenly come around and understand what it all means, but it's a start. They've accepted me for who I am, for being different. So different to what they imagined, and so different that none of this actually makes any sense to them. It's amazing what happens when you just start conversations about being different. And this all began because I wrote a post on LinkedIn, because for the first time, I was being authentic and personal online. I let myself to be awkward in this new life that I'm navigating. I chose to stop living how I think other people wanted me to live. And this was never about reaffirming my gender. This was never about my gender dysphoria. This was always about letting myself to discover who I really am and actually expressing it. I used to think to be a guy, I had to know my cars and my engines and love adventures and chase thrills. Never cared about any of that. But I remember forcing myself to. In the same notion, I think a lot of people say they love to go on a holiday. But I think they love to say that because they love the validation they get through social media, because they were posting photos like this. In the same notion, I think a lot of people say career is important, and rightly so. But I think a lot of it is the validation they would get through their job title, their salary, their reputation, especially if you're a doctor, a lawyer, or a professor. Somewhere along the lines, our priorities changed. We prize on what other people think about us, not how it makes us feel. But I think we should feel more than anything. We want to feel more than anything. For a start, we love to feel important about ourselves. We love to feel good about ourselves. We love to feel connected with the people around us. So how do we do that? How do we feel, and how do we exactly feel truly accepted and truly belong? And I think that how-to comes down to how much you know yourself. What do you love doing? What do you love doing so much that you'll do it alone at 6 a.m.? What do you love doing so much you'll ask to do it for free? Okay, you might say, well, Emery, I don't have a passion. I don't have an interest or a hobby. So does that not make me a human? Well, of course not. It just means you haven't found it yet. It also means that you can go and try absolutely anything you can think of. Try pottery, for example. You might not love it, but maybe you might fall in love with the process of creating things. And maybe that makes you a born songwriter. Try surfing. You might not love it, but just maybe you fall in love with nature and you end up running an Airbnb on the lake. The point is, you have to go and try different things because you never know where it will lead you. Here's what you can do immediately. Talk to anyone you wouldn't normally talk to. Ask the shopkeeper if it's been a busy day for them. Say thank you to the bus driver that you see most mornings. Ask the person next to you if they think this talk has been absolutely awful. The point is, the more we do that, the more we come up our shells. And once we do that, that's when we know ourselves well, and that's when the good things will start happening around you. When the world's polarized, cancel culture is fashionable. Putting on the rainbow flag for 30 days is a branding strategy. It's important that we're reminded of who we are. Humans, we were born to be different. Don't ever let anyone tell you how to be you, whether or not these were directly spoken to you in words or the impression you get in the world. Remember, allow yourself to be awkward and ask yourself, what kind of human do you want to be? Thank you.